Hello, thank you very much for spending time with me in this session. As you can see, when the COVID-19 pandemic was raging all over the world, every school is looking for online teaching solutions, and especially in um, the vocational training colleges, it's important to find a platform that can support a lot of hands-on activities. And at Hoa Sen University, we have such a vocational college under the university for delivering training in hospitalities, in um, needlework, and also in food and beverages. So we try to deliver some of the training courses on Second Life environment, and the results of those classes are the focus of my presentation today, which is Second Life 3D virtual learning environment for language education in Vietnam: opportunities and challenges. Now, Second Life is actually not new. The 3D virtual learning environment has been around for 20 years, but due to the limitations of hardware and internet connections, they have only become more popular recently since 2010, when broadband internet connection becomes more readily available. But according to um, the literature in computer-assisted language learning, with um, classroom simulation on 3D virtual learning environment like that of Second Life, the interaction among students and teacher can be promoted because it allows more collaborations by interacting through the real yeah real life artifacts in the virtual environment. And there are also tools that we see in online learning platform like chatbots, like video conferencing tools, and several other tools for promoting interactions. These 3D virtual learning environments also help building learning communities similar to what we see in online 3D games. And what is even uh, more about the virtual learning environment is that students have tools to build things. For example, teachers can build classroom, they can build desks, they can build paintings, they can build a lot of facilities for students to practice, to interact with. And with those facilities, the simulation and experiential learnings are all possible. So the 3D virtual learning environment, like what we see in Second Life, is actually an enhancement of the popular online learning platform that we see today. However, there are disadvantages too. When students are in a 3D virtual learning environment, they have so many things to see, and that can become distraction factors. And by nature, the 3D virtual learning environments are 3D games, and that requires students to have very costly hardware requirements. They need to have powerful CPU, they need to have a lot of RAM, they need to have graphic cards, and their internet connection also need to be good too. And in 3D virtual learning environment, it's not like in other LMS solutions like Moodle, Canvas, or Blackboard. There are no tools to collect statistics about student activity, so it's difficult for teachers to monitor and track students. And also, there is not much space for storing digital documents. Of course, okay, students can share files, share links, but this ability is much more limited than in the online platform that we know. So a little bit about Second Life is one of the 3D virtual learning environments that was around for nearly 20 years, beginning around 2000. And this is a very rich graphical 3D environment, similar to the kind of 3D games that we see today. And in Second Life, real people are represented by avatars, where you can change the appearance, change your hairstyle, change your clothes, and they are very much human-like. And apart from the facilities in Second Life, as I have mentioned, there are other tools for supporting communication and collaboration like chat, texting, and video conferencing. The content in Second Life is mostly created by the users, the teachers, the students, okay, rather than by the the company Linen Lab that run the platform. In Second Life, is it possible to do audio, video, and web streaming? And what does it mean? Instead of using Zoom, Google Meet, or Microsoft Teams for audio and video streaming, like what most of us do, we can take students inside Second Life and teleport to a common place like the town hall, for example, and there you can have a real 3D meeting in which audio, video, web streaming, and the student have the pleasure of looking around all of the beautiful artifacts and the visual sights around them. Okay, so in our experiment with the students using Second Life, we try to explore two research questions. How do learning activities in Second Life virtual learning environment impact our students' language performance, and how do our students perceive the language training activities in hospitality and tourism in Second Life? Now, we use the pre-test, post-test between group quasi experimental design for two classes that are approximately the same size, around 44 students. Yeah, as you can see on the screen, 44 students for the for the control group, 42, for the experimental group, 39, and the experiment lasted the whole semester. It was the end of 2019. For collecting data, we use speaking pre-test and post-test from Cambridge PET Speaking, and we also collect qualitative data by delivering questionnaires and conducting in-depth interview for the experimental group students. Okay, and these are the results of the pre-test and post-test. As you can see, after 15 weeks, the difference in the mean scores of the experimental group and the control group was statistically significant. In the first week, there was no significant difference, but after 15 weeks, the experimental class performed significantly better than the control class in their speaking. And when we look at data collected from the questionnaires, as you can see on the chart, most students have positive perceptions of learning in Second Life, like they believe that they can have good controls of the learning environment. They enjoy the collaborative activities. They feel that there were interesting things in the lesson that attract their attentions. However, if we look at things like findings course materials in Second Life, then a lot of them says, well, no ideas. For navigation in Second Life, quite a few students say, yeah, it is not so easy to navigate around. When we look at their interpersonal perceptions, whether students enjoy collaborating with their friends in Second Life, then it is even more positive. Student feels a strong sense of community in Second Life when they do the activities together at the class, and they also have a lot of motivations when working with the artifacts in the environment. So the learning experience for most students was, on the whole, as you see, positive. Now, when we analyze responses from the interviews, we also see similar messages about the positive learning experience. Most students like the virtual sightseeing. They see this as a wonderful part of the course. In this part of the course, they taken on to a lot of virtual destinations, so they feel like they are doing field trips. And several students also agree that this Second Life environment is an effective way of learning. So as you can see on the screen, Second Life is an excellent potential application that teacher can use to teach English in a totally different approach. It requires time to get used to the environment, but once you master the navigations and you learn about the environment, you have very rewarding experience. For communication in Second Life, law students also appreciate the ability to have real-life collaborations. For example, learner can engage lesson through field trips. They can run, fly, stroll, talk about scenes around them during the trips, and they can also describe where they are staying and give their direction to look for other places. Students also enjoy the ability to customize their avatars via the webcam so that they can have more fun and more, entertaining activities doing group work in the environment. However, as already discussed in literature, the technical issues are most outstanding problems for students. Second Life in nature is a 3D gaming environment, learning environment or gaming environment, up to you. But it surely requires powerful laptops and computers to run, and internet connection also need to be very good. Otherwise, the scene gonna load very slowly. So most students have difficulties with their laptops. Some claims that their laptop just hangs after about half an hour or 1 hour in Second Life, and finding ways around navigating in Second Life is also another problem for students. So in conclusions, we believe that from the evidence collected in our experiment, the Second Life virtual learning environment has a lot of potential for second language education, especially for ESPs and vocational programs in our college. And during our experiment, most students have positive learning experience with the Second Life 2D virtual learning environment. If recommendations are to be given, we would recommend the university to upgrade internet infrastructure, and this also applies to own teachers or own institution that consider Second Life as an online platform for their classes. Also, a school should think about how to improve the user devices. Perhaps students can get into a computer lab into the universities. They should be instructed to use more powerful computer. Actually, this is not so bad today because Second Life has been around for quite a long time, and most of the new laptops today can run Second Life quite comfortably. We also recommend building campuses, artifacts in Second Life. This is beneficial for branding, and it also give more choices, and it make the student feel the learning activities more real life when they see their school logo, their school images and paintings inside the environments. Now, if you or your school enjoy a Second Life environment and you are looking for something that is even more engaging, more visually enriching, then we would recommend Sansa, which is the next generation of Second Life offered by the same company Linear Lab that developed Second Life. However, for using Sansa, the requirements for student devices, the requirement for internet connections are even higher. But once you are in Sansa, you can see it is so engaging. It is so beautiful and so mesmerizing But anyway, it is new and there are not so many places to visit like in Second Life.